Here's the oxygen sensor. You can see the end's pretty much melted off. I wonder if this has a lot to do with how stretched the timing chains are or worn out they are, that your EGT temps go up. Or it could possibly be, once this crack forms, you start getting a different air fuel mixture in this exhaust manifold, and it might be running hotter in there too. Get yourself a ratcheting flex head for this one back bolt here. Make your life really easy on this project. Other than that, the rest are pretty easy. So the new dilemma is, because those studs are in the cat, you can't pivot that thing up if you still have some studs in the head. So now you either got to take the studs out of the head, take the studs out of the cat, or just simply unbolt the brackets to the cat and drop it down some. News is, you don't need to take this bolt all the way out. You just crack it loose, and that guy just drops a lot. OEM 2011, OEM 2020. In case you're wondering with the factory bolts or in the nuts, I actually bought some studs, but due to coronavirus, the other dealership I called was closed, so I only got 7 studs. So I have to reuse some of the old ones. But I want to show you what a genuine new GM nut. You see how the threads are crushed at the top? That's how they do it at the factory, so that these nuts don't back out like regular nuts would back out. They crush the tops in, and you can see the deformity in the thread. These are perfect for exhaust manifolds, and they never back out. These are the heat shield nuts, 3 of them. This is the stud for the exhaust manifold. I believe these were the nuts that squeeze on the top. Here's another one. And then that's the round gasket that goes above the catalytic converter. Before replacing any suspension components and jacking up your car, when you have those rubber bushings, you got to mark the center line of your rim to some reference on the body. So this way when you lock the bolts down on the control arm on the bushings, they're sitting in a neutral position when the vehicle is just sitting stationary parked. And then when the rubber has to flex under a bump, it goes up, and then when it goes up in the air for like car lift or jacked into the air, the bushings go the other way. So this way you want the center point of that bushing to be resting on ground. This bushing isn't that old, but it's an aftermarket part I threw on about less than a year ago, if that. As you can see, the rubber tore out, but it's not even destroyed. It's practically new. We'll get into more about this arm later. So these arms are about 1 year old, just made it a year. As you can see, I buy Moog, and I'm not sure if it's the wholesaler closeout arm or the regular Moog straight up. But I do have to say one thing. I don't know if this is a counterfeit or not, or if this one was, or maybe Moog just, I don't know. I've been having bad luck with their parts lately too. So let's take a look here. This one here is not, what is this roughly? I took it off the car. So this one's 8 years old, about 60,000 miles. This is the original factory, and as you can see, not too bad. I just did it because I was in there replacing suspension. So now this is the one that was put on a year ago. Bushings torn, popped out. probably put the old one on that was 8 years old. It's probably better quality than that one. So I went and bought another genuine GM just because I'm getting so sick of these aftermarket parts. They just don't last. I'm tired of doing the jobs 2-3 times. So you just spend the money, get a good part. The first one lasted 8 years and I took it off for entertainment. Now I'm going to put a factory one back on. You can see the welding, the factory's weld goes from about here to here. When you look at the aftermarket one, there's a lot less welds on it. Same on top. Look how far it goes from here. I can't even get my fingers over there. But the aftermarket one is only this long. We'll bolt it back together, line up with the center with the tape line that you just put before you lock down your bolts.